get BP, and Hecarim will build some tank too, but you don't have the Maokai, right? You don't have the Mundo against this heavily magic damage composition from Prime. Gnar will do good mixed damage. LeBlanc's obviously all AP. Gragas will mostly do all magic damage, and Corki's going to do a lot of hybrid damage. So if Samsung, a lot of it is going to be building health, and then Hecarim, it's all about their displacement and their crowd control. They have a lot of it on the side of Samsung too. In fact, more than Prime. Whereas Prime has very clear-cut ones like Death Sentence. You've got the Alistar, you've got the Cho'Gath Rupture, you've got the Rek'Sai, you've got the Hecarim Onslaught of Shadows. And with Sivir's ultimate, I think Samsung basically, they've set themselves up again so that even if Prime picks up the lead, I think Samsung can get back into the game, even without, you know, a full tank dedicated to soaking in all the bursts from Prime. So maybe Samsung can get a 2-0 and kick off the day with a nice win in our day of 3 best-of-3s. Let's jump right into set number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right. So one thing to note, Prime is the team that had the most points from the Challenger Series across the 2 rounds. So they were ranked #1 after the 2 rounds of Challenger Series. QV has no items. Is going to go back. I mean, yeah, with the Smite, you can farm and then go back, but you might as well buy a flask, right? And have that. So QV going to go back home. Oh, he's going to start with a machete. All right. I remember, I think it was season 2 still. Oh no, might have been season 2 or like pre-season 3, where I was playing a game, and this was like a thing going around at the time, I believe. But I played a game with a Trinamir who played with no runes and masteries at level 30, and they were like real men don't play with runes and masteries, and they got absolutely stomped in top lane of Trinamir. It was mildly amusing at the time, even though he was my teammate. But don't do that, guys. I mean, unless you actually... Well, okay, you have no reason to not play with masteries, right? Unless you made a mistake. But if not having runes is like one thing. Maybe you use all your IP on champions, but even then, invest in runes. They're pretty good for you. So QV gonna take his blue as Eve takes his red. They'll share that like nice friends on Samsung. And with the lane swap, QV just gonna continue farming. And that will also allow Sivir to have a pretty solid and safe laning phase. So yeah, with the spell shield, and sure, Alistar has heals and whatnot, you can try to deal with the duo lane, but you know, if your jungler or if your top laner has smite anyway, why not just lane swap, play it off easy. Soul is also just gonna roam with his jungler too on the side of Prime then. And everything just goes quietly, which Samsung is okay with. Because on almost all cases, Prime has a pretty solid advantage in lanes, across lanes. I mean, Cho'Gath has so much sustain, but you know, bottom lane, especially Corki and Thresh, has just as much power in lane. And oh yeah, the Korean cast talking about me casting all these games on my own. That's right, guys. Casted 7 yesterday, and we have a potential of 6, well, more today. So the crowd cheering for me, that feels good. Yeah, cheer for me. Forget Prime and Samsung. The League of Legends Champion Summer Qualifiers is actually all about the Chobra solo cast. You don't come here to watch Prime and Samsung, please. We don't get to see Faker today. We get to watch Chobra. Meanwhile, the lanes, everyone's back in their lanes, and that means that it's all quiet, so we get to watch more of me on camera. Yeah. So We'll see if I can last today. The first game, my tongue was getting tied all left and right, but if I can last all of today, I'll be impressed at myself. The games are a lot slower today too, which is a lot harder for a solo cast because I don't want to, you know, tell a joke to myself and be like, oh, nice punchline, buddy. Didn't see that one coming. Uh-oh, Soul gets knocked back into the tower. There's the exhaust. The knockup coming in from Eve. Soul gets a double stun, but Fury flashes forward. The Boomerang Blast not hitting, but he will get it with that last hit, and Fury picks up the first blood. Nice gank from Samsung, and Fury set once again to carry the game. Fury's been playing well on Samsung in most cases. I mean, when they're doing well, Fury is at the center of it most of the time. And Eve, of course, with some pretty decent jungling here and there. Wraith also setting that up really well with the preemptive flash and knocking Soul back. I think Soul just wasn't expecting them to go that hard, because if it was just the two of them, they would have just traded summoners. So they didn't expect Eve to be there. Catch was there in the top lane, so Soul played a little bit too relaxed, and that means just massive zoning by 3 people from Samsung. They're actually just going to start the fight behind because they know they can win this 3v2. Catch can't get out of this. Catch is going to die. A kill goes to Eve, and Eve's just going to heal back up as he stays underground. The game is just rolling away, slipping away from Soul and his teammates on Prime. Meanwhile, yeah, I mean, this is what you'd expect from mid lane. Ace having more resources than Assassin or Sachin. I actually wonder what he prefers his ID to be pronounced as in English. I should ask him if he qualifies into Champion Summer, because if not, sorry, I still care about your name, buddy, but I won't be reading it anytime soon on an English cast, so if you want me to ask you about the pronunciation of your name, you must first qualify. And, like, what do you do here as Prime, right? It's like, well, Soul is having a super rough time, but if Catch shows up, they're probably just both going to die again. So I think this is the best bet, is, like, showing that Samsung that you also don't care, and therefore they don't send as much backup anymore because they're happy with the lead they got. And Soul can just slowly farm back up and hopefully into the game. We may never see that moment where Soul is relevant in this game, depending on how the lane phase ends. Meanwhile, this also allows Wraith to roam, and what's scarier than a roaming bull? Maybe a roaming Thresh and a Gragas. Gragas gets knocked up. Ace does have his ultimate, but he's running really low. The Ignite ticking. He will die eventually to an auto from Catch. And just so many minions there for Prime too. So nice gank from Prime. And what they lost out in the top lane, they're gonna try to make up for it in the mid lane. Ace not looking too happy about how that played out, but I think he'll be okay with it. And Assassin will get his blue. And Secret. Well, up. There's the spell shield. So they swapped the lanes back because Hecarim's pretty well ahead in that top lane. Has a Skirmisher Saber and the cloth armor to help out in lane 2. So QV feels pretty good. He has a good level advantage. Soul just at level 5. Ace gets his blue. And Ace is in a little bit of trouble, because basically he should have died. Whoa, what's happening down bot? Secret almost dead, but there's the Lantern shield coming in for him. And Fury doesn't get hit by the last death sentence, so here's Assassin waiting for a gank. If Assassin can get kills here in the bottom lane, things are going to get pretty interesting here for both teams, as that's a pretty good chance for Prime. Oh, but here's Eve. Oh, and he sees them. Secret's coming in. He's really low on health. Eve's just going to cut him off, and he's going to try to get the kill. The Boomerang Blade connects at the edge. Fury picks up the kill. Yeah, the call coming in from Ace, too, from mid. So, and, of course, the Tremor Sense from Eve. And that's going to lead right into a Dragon, probably. Catch does have his ultimate, so the Explosive Cast may go for a big play here for Prime. But aside from that, I don't have too many big hopes. Corki also helping poke it down. So Samsung's just going to say, all right, well, we'll just leash it out. Yeah, you definitely want to finish it at this point. Catch, can he get the steal, though? Oh, no, it's too far. Leashed it right out to the edge. And now with the Dragon, Samsung solidly having that lead. Ace does have his ultimate available. Not going to use it to get stacks just yet. Assassin actually just goes in for the burst, seeing that the Rupture is down. Here comes Catch with the explosive cask. Ace gets sent behind, but there is the nom 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 nom. Assassin has to just walk back out, but it doesn't matter because Catch is... Doesn't matter if you try to take the LeBlanc down because the full health Gragas is right there, and Secret all alone. Oh, he actually dodges a lot of that damage, gets Fury, knocks back with the Flynn. Here comes the teleport from Soul, but here comes the Rek'Sai and the Hecarim. Rek'Sai was actually not on his way there. Comes back a little bit later alongside QB. Rek'Sai was already there, rather, is what I meant. I'm starting to lose my mind. Catch has been doing what he can, but hasn't been too much. I think they're holding on, basically. Prime's holding on, and they're really trying to shut down Ace, because Cho'Gath can also like hard carry the game if he gets a good lead, and this is gonna allow. I mean, with 2 assists, it's kind of unfortunate. It'd be best if LeBlanc got those kills, because then I think he would feel more confident going to other lanes and picking up more kills to snowball the game out of control, but right now it's really not working out. I think Ace, really, yeah, you just want to use your ult here to just build up more stacks, right? I mean, just build up stacks. Don't try to duel him right now. Just build up stacks so that you're even beefier, and then you can try to duel them. I don't think Ace should have been in such a rush to try to be prepared for a duel, because then when the gank comes in, you're so squishy. When you don't have stacks, Cho'Gath is not beefy. The whole point is that he can get a lot of health. Fury still looks really happy about the game. 3-0-1. What he's going to pick up? He picks up an Avarice Blade. And now for Prime, a lot is on Sasin's LeBlanc. Catch just helping out the mid lane a lot. I think that's proper for Prime. And this has given Soul time to claw back into the game too. I mean, he's still really behind, but he's not like much more behind than he was before. You know, 10 to 20 CS difference from earlier is just about where he was when the game started. Which basically means that they've been left to their own devices in top lane, and that's fine. QV has a skirmish saber, but he decided to go for the Tabby to stabilize his laning experience too. So Soul was actually okay with that. Another gank onto Ace. Ace going really low, but a nice rupture, but the Death Sentence connects the blade backwards, and this time Sasin picks up the kill. And so Samsung has to respond finally. They're not going to let Soul... Oh, but Soul knocks them both back. As Mega Gnar, as he runs away as Mini Gnar. And all right. Now Sasin's a pretty well-known player in, you know, the Korean LCK and Challenger series. Of course, as any Assassin player, loves to play the likes of LeBlanc and Zed. Has had some good games on Azir and Victor too, it seems, in solo queue. And so far, he's looking pretty great. But the other thing is, it's not just because like Sasin's supposed to be the superstar or anything. Hold that thought as Nuclear flashes forward, but Wraith waiting for the knock-up first. And then he's going to headbutt him backwards. And there's... Uh-oh, there's the kill on Nuclear. Nice try by Nuclear, actually trying to trade 1-for-1. Force the ult out of Wraith, but he still died to Fury. So 4-0-1 Sivir. You are not... I don't know. I don't think you're really prepared for that. LeBlanc is 1-0-2, but it's not like LeBlanc also has 4 kills, and Sivir does have a spell shield. So what are you really going to do? And at this point, thanks to those kills, though, Sasin is able to force trades here against Ace. And Ace just kind of struggling to actually keep up and hold the merit of picking a Cho'Gath against an Assassin. But Fury's going to make up for all of that, takes that tier 1 in bottom. lanes, and Catch still focusing in mid lane. So what I was saying before was it's actually regardless of, you know, whether your mid lane player is supposed to be the superstar or not, the point is you picked LeBlanc, and if LeBlanc doesn't get big, like, you shouldn't have picked LeBlanc, right? If you pick LeBlanc, you better feed LeBlanc, and LeBlanc better carry the game, because otherwise she will become irrelevant. And so Catch has been focusing in that mid lane, and they've done what they could, right? It is against a Cho'Gath, even without those stacks. It's not like he's going to, it's not like he's super squishy. It's not like he's a Veigar or something. So 1-0-2 and 2 kills for Ground. It's like not shabby, not too shabby. But is it enough against Samsung when Fury is 4-0-1? I'm not so sure. Eve is cut out a little bit, but he'll get out just fine. And Samsung making sure they get deeper vision around the Dragon Pit so that they can try to take the second dragon of the game. Now Assassin is now in bottom lane. The tower is down, so you send LeBlanc down, you tell her to farm, you tell her to push that up, and maybe try to get a 1v1 against the AD carry or whoever comes down there. Basically, you leave LeBlanc to your own devices at this point. And Prime shows up. There's a teleport in from QV. Nice explosive cast disrupts all of Samsung, but they're still working on the dragon. Only half health, though. QV doesn't find a target, so they just turn onto the dragon. Catch goes in, but he gets knocked up by Wraith, and he can't get the steal, but it's been reset for a little bit. The fight extends. Assassin picks up 1 kill against Ace. Soul is going to turn into Mega Narv really soon. He's sticking onto Fury. Doesn't get the ultimate, though. The stun doesn't connect as Fury runs away. The dragon does eventually go to Prime. There's a slow onto Fury. Fury just has to try to turn around and trade. Not going to happen. The shutdown goes on to Catch. Prime playing that pretty well. Assassin, all right, is going to get up with that distortion at the end. I'm not entirely sure why that went so south for Samsung. I mean, I can already think of a number of reasons. Let's look at the replay. All right, basically, explosive cast disrupts, and Ace has to flash out. And, oh, Assassin got a lot of damage onto both Ace and Wraith. And here, the dragon starts to reset as all of them lose aggro on it. Wraith goes in and he knocks up Catch, but it keeps resetting. And Eve needs to keep chasing it. QV wasn't available to take that front line. And Assassin goes in deep, picks up a kill. And then QV is actually caught out as he tries to be that front line, and the dragon's been sitting at 400, 500 health for about 20 seconds as Cash comes in to pick up the dragon kill. Well, yeah, that's, I mean, Fury got shut down. The biggest, I guess, good news on that for Samsung is the kill went to Catch. It's not like LeBlanc got the shutdown gold, so that's cool, but LeBlanc is now 2-0-3. Ace is 0-4-0. Samsung, I mean, basically they need to watch out. Prime caught up in Dragon Stacks. They are still 2K behind in gold, mostly because of towers, though. And some CS differences. Secret flashes for the Flay, not going to connect, but here comes Catch. There's the body slam and the kill onto Catch. Catch is so strong right now. He's just super tanky, and then the base stats for Gragas skills are pretty strong to begin with. Also against anyone who's going to be building health, which Cho'Gath naturally does. 0-5-0. Ace is now irrelevant in this game for a little while until he can pick up a kill. But even then, that might make him like more relevant in a negative way, so he really needs to just turn around 180 degrees here. Secret putting down a lot of pressure. And Samsung, I mean, Fury's still really strong, but Corki now has his Trinity Force. And with just an IE, like the IE's strong, but you're going to need a little bit more as Sivir to pull that off. And Prime is actually feeling really good, especially tying the Dragon Stacks is going to matter a lot. And Towers, I mean, it's not the same anymore because of Dragon giving those buffs, but at the end of the day, so I guess the only difference now is that it's the same with Dragons. Like, you can pick up the Dragon Stacks later too, you can catch up technically, but Towers especially, you can like literally catch up at any point with Tower of Gold. So it's not too bad for Prime. We do have, yeah, they're just gonna pressure Ace. He actually flashes forward. A little bit over eager. by catch, but I don't know. I don't know if you want to blow your summoners just to scare off a 0-5-0 Cho'Gath. Now, Samsung. What matters though is that 0-5-0, you've got the Abyssal, but that's all you have. Like Ace, he's not going to be the front line, even with beefing up on his ultimate. He's not going to be a solid front line. At the same time, he can't really be kind of that semi-assassin as Cho'Gath either right now. I mean, sure, if you catch Corki or LeBlanc, all you really need is your ult, but you know, it's not like you can stop that Gragas from coming in with your skills. Look at that. The Rupture barely, I mean, it doesn't really hurt Secret. Okay, I guess it hurt him because we saw his health bar disappear, but it's not a threat where Secret's like, oh shoot, I gotta back off. Secret's just like, okay, like, that's fine. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Not a big deal. Meanwhile, Nuclear is starting to whittle down on Ace with his missiles here. So now Prime really needs to continue this pressure here at, you know, the mid game basically. Trinity Force Power Spike happened a little while ago for Corki, and Sassen hasn't gotten a kill since that dragon fight. And so pressuring is fine, but if all you're doing is pressuring and that never leads to an objective advantage, then, well, you're going to give time for Cho'Gath and Hecarim to really build up and turn things around so that Fury can just go at it as Sivir. Alright, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, look at that tier 1. I don't think Prime is really going to take that anytime soon, and they kind of need to. And if they feel that they can't, well, yeah, it's rough, because you don't want to send, like, more people down bot and put LeBlanc in mid. Like, sending LeBlanc down bot is fine, but it's not leading into anything. I think Prime's best bet is making something happen at the team fight that will most likely happen at the next Dragon, which is 25 seconds away. But Ace does have a lot of health now. He has his Morel and Omicron too, so that's not too bad. We'll see what Prime shows up with. They're not going to have time anymore right now to go back home and buy anything. Gnar will go home buy. He has teleport too, but he's going to rush forward with home guard. All he has is Randuin, so he's not super tanky. Mega Gnar did just end, but by the time he gets to Dragon, oh, he's just going to go back top because he has teleport. That's fine. It looks like he was going to head down mid for a little while there. But, so especially in top lane, he should be able to build up his meter and control it well enough that he can have Mega Gnar here at the Dragon Pit. They do take that tier 1 and bottom for Prime, so that matters quite a bit. And whittling Eve down below half health is also really good for Prime. Rek'Sai can try to regain that, but they're not going to give him an opportunity to. So right now, Samsung has to choose. Do we fight with a half health Rek'Sai, or do we not? Gnar is going to teleport first. Looks like actually getting cut off by QV, but the Dragon will still quietly go over to Prime. Samsung will take the mid tower. So Samsung making the trade that they can. Mega Gnar did just end, so no crazy team fight prepared for Prime. And let's see, where's Ace? I mean, yeah, just look at the size. You can see he has all 6 stacks of Feast right now on his ultimate. And he's not behind in experience compared to LeBlanc. So now he's back in, right? He was relevant for a little while, but he stopped dying after that point because he was irrelevant. So now he's here. And you're going to have to, yeah, Assassin was porting back on a pink ward. That's just going to sit there. QV also farming really well. Soul has fallen quite behind in CS at this point. So QV still doesn't have his Trinity Force though. So a bit of a late start for Hecarim, but as soon as he gets that Trinity Force, he's still a big threat to Corki with that Skirmisher Saber. Even LeBlanc to some extent, because he's going to reduce the damage done to him by them as soon as he smites them. Meanwhile, Gnar only having that Randuin is... Soul's not too happy about that. Blade of the Ruined King nearly finished for Nuclear, but Youmuu's is finished, and Last Whisper on its way pretty soon from Fury. So Samsung, by the time the next team fight happens, I think they'll be pretty satisfied with where they are in the game. They are behind in one Dragon stack, though. And that's not going to matter when it comes to the team fight itself, because the third stack is what's going to affect the team fight after the first one. And Assassin is regrouping, leaving that bottom lane. It looks like maybe they're feeling the pressure around Baron a little bit. Samsung has been putting up a lot of their own vision there too. Also coming here to pick up the blue buff. Makes sense, but that means that bottom, I mean, yeah, it's pushing out, but you're missing out on all that XP and gold. So they are going to send Nuclear down bot. But that means Assassin has nothing to do, so they're going to let him go top now because Gnar just left. So Prime, excuse me, is, yeah, they're responding okay with what they have. Corki actually never made it down bot, so those minions, I mean, they're pushing up, but they're still being wasted. And actually, QV going to show up, and he's going to shove that back. So Gnar's going to have to go back bottom. QV still has his teleport. Soul does not. And that means Souls will come up soon, too. Oh, actually, maybe Soul actually canceled his teleport last time because they realized Dragon was going to go down. I think his cooldown is short enough that he might have canceled it. Either way, LeBlanc gets stopped by Eve. And, like, this is going to be... until a teamfight is forced with map objectives, I don't think Samsung is going to want to fight. And that means Prime has to, you know, force a fight or get a pick here with LeBlanc. And that's not happening because LeBlanc's split pushing. Split push LeBlanc. It's such an odd concept because it's like a theoretically a good idea depending on, you know, where the game is, and it's kind of what you have to do, but at the same time it loses a lot of its merit at some point. It's a weird thing. But Prime doing it is fine right now. But it is gonna basically stop that snowball. Of course, Assassin did take the Luden's Echo, so that's going to help a bit. And he is able to burst down Eve quite a bit whenever he shows up, but Eve's just going to heal back some of it. He'll go home, but Ace is right up there. Ace now with a needlessly large rod. I wonder how much damage Assassin does to Ace now. I don't know. I mean, Ace, he just built AP, right? So it's still just his V stacks, but that means I think he can actually counterburst Assassin at this point with these items. Because he's got all the items he would want. So it would be interesting. And with the Luden's Echo, actually, Assassin probably losing out a little bit of that single target burst he can do. Wow, Ace actually only 600 gold behind Assassin. So yeah, he's totally cool with it, despite having 5 deaths. Amazing how that happened. I mean, good on Ace. Wow. Well, I mean, I guess part of it, yeah, is the towers. I was about to say, but his CS, I mean, sure, LeBlanc's CS isn't the craziest either. We're 27 minutes in and 210. We should look at Corki for the kind of standard you're looking for in terms of CS at this point in the game. But Ace not falling behind that, so obviously that accounts for the smaller goal difference too. Has a better chance of clearing anyway to begin with. And then 3 towers by Samsung has helped quite a bit. Now, we do have Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. Samsung doesn't want to give this one, right? This is the one where, again, it affects the next team fight that happens because of the movement speed buff. So, at the very least, you don't want to give it easily. If you can like trade it for a tier 2 in mid, or you know, like 3 kills so that you can go for Baron or something like that, then it's fine. It's fine giving the move speed buff. But if Prime quietly takes this, then even if Samsung's ahead in gold, I think Prime's okay with it too. Because while Cho'Gath is great against Assassins, it's not like your other champions on your team are like completely Assassin proof. I guess Wraith kind of is with his ultimate on Alistar, but with Unbreakable Will. But yeah, sure, Sivir has Spell Shield, but at some point LeBlanc's going to not care whether there's a Spell Shield or not. And QV is, I mean, he's a little beefy now, but he'll be slowed down, so a lot of his effectiveness will also disappear. QV having a little bit of a greeting with Soul. So Samsung really positioning themselves so that they can try to defend their tier 1, but also have all eyes on defense set up against that dragon. Assassin taking this time to push up the mid lane, or the bottom lane quite a bit, excuse me. That brings QV down bottom. And that's fine, because he has teleport and he's Hecarim. Bottom lane isn't too far from dragon. Did take a little bit of a burst from Assassin. Assassin needs to really like poke someone down at this point as LeBlanc, but he's running out of mana. And Death Sentence is not connecting just yet. Secret just using that for pressure right now. They did get rid of the pink ward, but there's still another ward there, so Samsung still has eyes around the dragon pit. They also have a ward within the pit itself. And Hecarim pushed bottom back out. He's going back up top to block this big minion wave, so he's taking advantage of all the XP and gold he can get. He does have an experience advantage to Soul, because Soul's been hanging out with the team for quite some time, while QV has been going back and forth between top and bottom lane. You see the ping on Dragon as soon as you see QV up top, but QV has teleport. QV needs to teleport first, so if they want to block this Dragon, he can't try to wait until it's like halfway. You just want to go down and show up at the Dragon Pit before that Dragon's too close to dying. There we go, the teleport coming in from behind. Prime does get the Death Sentence right there, and we see Sivir activating her ultimate, chases Prime off of the Dragon. Oh, but the explosive cast comes in for the steal with the smite from Catch. Prime gets the third Dragon. Can they continue to fight? There's a stun from Meganar. Prime, are they going to disengage? A 3-man stun from Meganar, but they're pretty beefy on the side of Samsung. Wraith survives with a minimum health. Fury does get Death Sentence. Assassin still at full health, but low mana. Nuclear at half health. So Fury picks up a kill. 2 deaths on the side of Prime. Samsung, all 5 members alive. And this will, can they lead this into something? Can they maybe go to Baron? I don't know. QV's really low, and so is Wraith. But they are going to push that mid lane, and will they go forward? No, Fury's actually going to port back home. But we're still seeing pings on Baron, and it looks like that's actually from the side of Prime. They're just going to go ahead and check it. They're going to see that Baron has not been taken. Well, a really good steal right here from Catch. Watch as he's all the way on the outside, and then he goes in. Smite and explosive cast being used for the steal. Meanwhile, Assassin goes in, doesn't get much damage, but look at the positioning from Soul. He is the true front line, and as they come back forward, he flashes forward, 3-man stun. Fury does spell shield that. Luden's Echo activating for a little bit of extra damage, but a nice onslaught of shadows is actually what disrupts the entire Prime team as they were all grouped. The Death Sentence will bring Fury in for a little bit, forcing that flash, but Gnar was CC'd completely and surrounded by all the front line of Samsung while Fury was dishing out damage. So Prime wasn't able to follow through on that, and Assassin being a little bit low on mana meant that he couldn't keep diving back and forth with Distortion to continue putting out AoE damage onto Samsung. And Cho'Gath this now has a Zonios, has a kill and an assist. Well, Cho'Gath is relevant now for both teams once again. This could be good news or bad news for Samsung. Same with Prime. If they can shut him down again, they'll get the fair 300 gold. But if not, Ace will continue to just get bigger and bigger. And the third stack with the moon speed, like, it's nice because it helps to, like, it helps the team fight. And I mentioned that Samsung wouldn't want to give that up, but at the same time, given how things have progressed, they actually extended their gold lead during that without taking a tower. Simply because, for one, QV's been farming really well with the side lanes, and they got those kills in that last fight. So Samsung's actually like, okay, well, you know, the move speed, that's cool, but look, Onslaught of Shadows is AoE, Rupture is AoE. I mean, sure, it's telegraphed, so they have to dodge it, but basically, it forces them to reposition. You've got your silence. The move speed isn't going to be something that allows Prime to, like, counteract the advantages that Samsung would have had. So all it really means is Prime still has a shot. But Samsung is also okay with that, given how they were dealing with it before that third dragon. We just noticed Corki's still doing good damage, though. Has the Last Whisper, too, on top of the Blade of the Ruined King. Last Whisper also out for Fury, though, on the flip side. A lot more armor on the side of Prime, of course, because we got some magic resist coming in against Assassin here for Samsung with the Locket on Rek'Sai. And the Spectre Scowl for Hecarim, QV on Hecarim. So LeBlanc has stayed at 2-0-3 for what I believe to be about 15 minutes now. it's okay, it's fine, but again, you're losing the merit on playing an assassin if either as an assassin you like split push so hard that they need to invest 2 people to shut you down and stop your split pushing, or assassin, all right, nuclear shows up to help him escape, or you get kills, right? You basically need to snowball the game one way or the other on your own, whether it's by kills or by drawing so much attention, and assassin hasn't done that for the last 15 minutes. A QV alone has been responding to the split push, and that actually gives him a big lead against Soul. And look at his items now. He finishes Trinity Force. He's got all sorts of defense prepared that he can just upgrade one by one now. And, I mean, Soul's, like, he's all right. He's got a lot of health. And that helps against Ace and whatnot, but that means that at some point Fury's also just going to... It's just a matter of time before Fury kills him. So Samsung, I think, is feeling pretty good about how things progress. Of course, the Ludens being there for Sassen is going to help with the split push. And yeah, it has 120 AP, but it's very different from having a death cap, I'll tell you that, especially against a single target. Because a lot of that advantage is that it spreads out the extra damage in to multiple targets. So now you see that Blasting Wand after the Void Staff, most likely going to be waiting on to build into a death cap for Assassin, but by then it might be too late. Like, who's he going to burst down other than Fury? And when you have what looks to soon be a Mikhail's Crucible coming in from Wraith, a Spell Shield on Fury himself, and a Summoner's Heal, and all this knock-up and the Exhaust and Wraith too, that's going to prevent you from perhaps finishing your combo on Fury. I don't think Assassin's really going to have a target on Samsung. So, I mean, okay, him and Nuclear could technically burst down either QV or maybe Eve too. They could. So, like, if they, but that's if they get a pick, right? Meanwhile, Samsung sneaking in a Baron once again. This time it's QV and Fury. QV does have Smite, so they don't need the jungler there. And, okay, I guess they just showed up there and took Baron. Yeah, Prime's like, what? Oh, Sassen tried to make something happen, though. They do get the chain and the knockback onto Wraith. There's a death sentence. They will eventually pick up the kill. Soul does get caught out. But they did spend a lot of time, so now they all have to retreat as QV shows up with the teleport from behind. Eve being brought in uses the locket just to be safe. Again, Samsung has that Baron buff, so they're okay with just backing off. The Dragon is now up. Will Samsung go ahead and start it? They have the Smite left on Eve. Mega Gnar is down for a couple seconds and Catch gets knocked back by QV. They go in, Eve gets to knock a bunch of Nuclear, but the damage finally showing up as Fury, and Soul still cannot get his rage built up. There's the Ignite on Soul. Will he go down? Sassen tries to show up from behind. Soul does go down to the Ignite from Ace. Sassen still picks up a kill onto QV, but Catch and Nuclear both being sent back along with Secret as Fury is still full health. Looks like Samsung will just go ahead and try to take this Dragon. Wraith coming back down at full health. Yeah, but that Sassen LeBlanc is getting a little annoying, so Samsung going to make sure that she backs off into an area that they can expect her to come from. Can Catch get the steal here? He's looking for it, but Fury zoning him out at full health, and a safe Dragon for Samsung as they pick up their second stack on top of their Baron buff. Prime, they tried to do what they could, but Samsung really ratchet ball. Good just initiate by QV saying, hey, let's just turn around and fight. I think we can win this. Fury's really strong right now. And they did keep Nuclear at bay for quite some time so that Fury could chase down Soul, put down a lot of damage. Ace went in with the Beast and the Ignite. It's just, again, consolation prize for Prime is that Sassen got the kill onto QV. And look at all that gold for Fury. Really fits the theme of Sivir, don't you think? What's her exact quote again? I don't remember. But that tier 1 and mid is still alive and healthy for Samsung, and that just really shows the importance of the mid tier 1. It really affects your dynamic and your tempo around the other objectives on the map. And uh-oh! Wow, Sassen gets completely shut down. This is what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you have the power to burst someone down 100 to 0. Look at the instant reaction. Wraith with the flash knock-up. giving no time for Sasin to react, and then followed by the rupture and the silence. And at this point, Ace has a lot of burst himself, so like Sasin can't really do that anymore. I'm not even sure if he'll have an opportunity to even do that anymore, given how much ahead Samsung seems to be in this game at this point. They're nearly 10K ahead. And so, Sasin, I mean, sure, 3-1-4 now, but after 20 minutes, all he's done is get 1 extra kill and 1 extra assist. Hasn't taken down a tier 2. And also hasn't allowed his team to take the tier 1 in mid. He hasn't really made anything happen as Wraith comes in from behind, knocks Secret forward into the team. Eve still tanking really hard. Nice onslaught of shadows from QV, puts Nuclear in between the entire team of Samsung. Cash, meanwhile, taking a lot of damage from the side. Also, good team fight from Samsung as they take the tier 2 in bottom. And I think Samsung might just keep this up and try to end the game here sooner or later as Eve goes forward. Sasin has his distortion back. Meganar activated. Soul just too angry that he couldn't handle it. Turns into a big green monster. And Samsung looking to finish the game and start the day off with a win. A nice ultimate sending 3 people back. Spell Shield from Fury gonna save him, but Soul just gets decimated by Fury Sivir. Fury just tanking the tower. Doesn't care. His teammates also don't care that he was tanking the tower as they go for the ace. And Samsung Galaxy will beat Prime 2-0 to lead the day with a win. Samsung hasn't secured their spot just yet, though. They're gonna win. They're gonna want to win the next match against Zenix, and then they'll secure their spot back into Champion Summer 2015, which will then leave Prime and Zenix to their own duel for a spot. Why does Ace always, I mean, I guess he had a rough game this time, but Ace always looks like, he's like, oh man, that game. Oh boy. Seems to be his reaction after all these games. And Nuclear not looking too satisfied with the play here. Catch also not looking too. Yeah, I mean, most of Prime are like, man. I mean, Samsung, I think, you can say that they looked really weak in Champions against all of the other Kespa teams, but at the same time, they're showing that they're still, you know, they